A lot of people ask if they could grow only half their own food. But almost nobody asks the harder question. How much time does that actually take? Not in theory, not on paper, in real life. Because 50% food self-sufficiency isn't half the work. And once you start counting the hours, the daily chores, the seasonal push, the things that, well, just won't wait, things get real pretty fast. Today, we're going to talk honestly about the time cost of food self-sufficiency and what 50% actually looks like and why time, not money, is what stops most people. Yeah, I get a big kick out of this. Some folks picture this as evenings and weekends. A little gardening after work, maybe a little canning on Saturday, and possibly a few animals to take the edge off the grocery bills. And on paper, that sounds very reasonable. But food self-sufficiency doesn't work that way. It works in systems. And systems don't care what your schedule looks like. You know, when people say 50% food self-sufficient, they usually mean calories. But calories don't show up by accident. They come from planning, maintaining, harvesting, preserving, storing, and repeating each and every year. It's not just the food you eat today. It's the food you need 6 months from now, or even 12 months from now. And unfortunately, time doesn't reset at the end of each season. Most people only count visible work, you know, planting and harvesting. But that's the smallest slice of the pie. Time really goes into starting seeds, prepping beds, fixing fences, moving water, repairing tools, processing food, and a whole host of other things that generally break at the worst possible time. And none of that shows up in your garden plan, but it certainly all shows up in real life. It was 79 degrees day before yesterday. This morning, 19. What a change. Here's the part that surprises people. I use 50% here as a reference point, not a rule, because that's where the time curve really starts to show up. The first food you grow is always the easiest. The more food you try to produce, the more time it takes to support it. Bigger systems don't always simplify things, but it certainly add responsibility. Efficiencies take time to build. And once you build it, it takes time to maintain it. That's why 50% self-sufficiency often feels more than half the work. The real cost isn't in hours per week, it's availability. Can you show up every day? Can you respond when the weather changes? Can you deal with failure without walking away? Food doesn't wait, animals don't wait, and time isn't scheduled, it's demanded. You know, this lifestyle works best for people with flexibility, retirees, folks with adaptable schedules, or families who will share the load. But it's certainly harder for people with long commutes or unpredictable hours. That's not a judgment, it's just reality. Time is the limiting factor, whether people want to admit it or not. This video isn't meant to discourage anyone. It's meant to replace guesswork with clarity. Food self-sufficiency isn't about whether or not you can do it. It's about what you're willing to trade your time for every day, every season, year after year after year. Once you understand the time cost, the rest of the decisions get a lot clearer. From all of us here at Possum Ridge Farms, until next time, I'll see you down at the barn.